we'll transition then into prospect talk. Tom Kurvers prospect showcase. Again, Tom Kurvers, you're the best. But man, doesn't it suck that there's like so many cool players for the Blues and for the Blackhawks? Like, I look at the rosters and it's like, God, I'm like as excited to watch some of their players as ours, and they don't even have all the guys that I'm interested in playing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like these like prospect showcase events are always really fun. I'm disappointed that the Traverse City one really wasn't a thing this year. They've always had, like, Detroit's always hosted a very, 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 very fun one. They did not this year, but yeah, no, I mean this weekend in Minnesota, I mean, we can jump right, like the Chicago game, Frank Nazar, oh my God. It felt like every time he jumped over the boards, every time he took the puck, he was walking somebody. He made some ridiculous, I think he hit the post a few times too. But he went all the way off. He looked very fun. And like you were saying before we actually started this live, like, he's kind of a guy that's almost been like shit on. Not maybe not shit on, but like when you look at the fact that it was the year after he gets drafted, they get Bedard. This year they go out, they get Lashunov and plenty of other high-end prospects that are already there, whatever. Like, he's almost become somewhat of a forgotten guy and a guy that's been like discounted. He's went to Michigan, ripped it up at Michigan. He has not, like, I don't know if people remember the commentary around like the USN TDP team, his draft season, where I know plenty of people that liked him more than a guy like Cooley. Like, he has ridiculous upside. And because he is technically a center that isn't 6 foot, he automatically like just gets that knock against him. But you watch him play, and I mean, he is an ankle breaker, the dual threat. He could score goals himself. He is like a little pit bull on the ice too. Like, he is not afraid of getting physical. He is such a fun player to watch, such a fun player to like cheer for too. It was him this year. I think it was in the tournament where like he went between the legs, cross ice sauce. I think it was against Michigan State. No, it wasn't against Michigan. Who were they playing? God damn it. What tournament game was that? It was like the second rounder, maybe. I don't know. But either way, it was ridiculous.
And I think it would have been Michigan State.
I think it may have been, right? Yeah, I think it was. It was when they scored 3 goals in like a minute and a half. But he can drive offense. He plays such a good two-way game. He has just become somewhat of a forgotten prospect, or like a discount. Not even forgotten, more just like discounted for how good he really is. Just given like the profile of picks that they've had the last couple of years. But he looked like he was one of the most noticeable guys all weekend, from when I was watching those games. But as far as Minnesota goes, though, you and I, again, we were talking about this before, Hunter Haight.
Dude. Woo! Buzzing. I didn't watch day 2. I was definitely very in and out on day 1 for the Wild, with kid duty and stuff. Did my best to clip things and get them out there for all the Twitter sickos, but Haight stood out the most to me personally. From every time I watched, it seemed like he was doing something. Whereas a guy like Riley Height, see, we're already getting into this shit. God damn it. Riley Height did not do anything wrong, didn't do anything to concern me. He just didn't stand out in a way that I expected him to. And sure, he scored a goal, whatever. Found himself taking a couple of penalties, like, didn't do anything, like, I didn't see him do anything, like, bad. It was more just, I was hoping that he was going to be the guy that took this weekend by storm. I didn't quite see that. I'm honestly, like, I know it's 1 goal, whatever. I'm just really excited all year to follow what we get from a full healthy season of Caden Bankier. That guy is, fans are going to realize pretty quickly that this is the forgotten prospect. I'm very, very excited about him.
Yeah. So he scored both games, and he's such an interesting player. Like, he gets taken fourth round, fourth or fifth.
We're gonna find out.
Or was it third? Now I think about it, they've been third. Anyways, but gets drafted. Profile is like, yeah, he's got some playmaking ability, but he's just a super reliable two-way guy. It was a third round pick, right? Yeah. Playing for Kamloops, and pretty much like a jack of all trades, master of none type guy. Then like his draft plus one season. I guess draft plus two. Yeah. His last year at Kamloops. Yeah, whatever. Kamloops goes out the year they pick up Kyle Masters, which goes off. But all of a sudden he's scoring like spinorama goals. He's going like goal every other game. I think he put up 40 that year. Again, like did not take any steps backwards as far as his like two-way play. He's super physical. He'll fight when he needs to fight. Like super reliable, low maintenance type player that like any situation you need him to do something, or any situation where you need some guy to step up, Bankier can be a guy that can be leaned on pretty heavily. Goes to the World Juniors in his season where he's going off as an offensive go-to guy in the WHL, goes and like not only makes that Team Canada World Junior squad, is on that fourth line, but is playing meaningful minutes. He's one of their go-to guys in the penalty kill, makes himself incredibly useful, and like makes that coaching staff keep him in the lineup. Then he just kind of continues on doing his offensive work in the WHL, gets hurt, comes back, gets healthy again, plays in the AHL. And I mean, he finished, I think, third or fourth on the Iowa Wild in points, like after missing the first third of the season. So like we're just continuing to watch this like development arc where he's just getting better and better to the point where like I think we all looked at him as probably like a bottom six, most likely a fourth line guy that can play really good like two-way minutes. He's going to be like killing penalties for you. He should be like decent enough as like a face-off guy. But even if you have him at the wing, he's still going to be able to contribute like sparing offense, but again, like that two-way ability, specifically the defensive prowess, that's really where you're going to have a lot of value in a guy like Caden Bankier. But he continues to show that like there is some legit offense in there where it's like he could end up playing like a real meaningful role on your third line. Again, I don't think he even has to be playing center to be doing that either. Like the shot has taken, I mean, I think it was his second goal. Oh God, was it? No, it was game one. It was game one. Was it on the power play? That was a snipe. Like that was a rip. And that was something that he didn't really showcase a whole lot of in his draft year, but the shots just continued to get better and better. Where like he's a legit goal scoring threat. And I think he's like just elevated himself in this pool where it's like he's gonna be one of the guys that's probably closest to being ready to get a look, like get some games in the NHL here, just because like the development arc is he's just fascinating. And he's got the size, the two-way play, and this untapped offense that we didn't really see a whole lot of in his draft year that's really coming out more often now. But the fact that he played as well as he did in the AHL last year on a very bad AHL team. Like that was a bad Iowa Wild team. And again, the fact that he played like 15 fewer games than pretty much everybody else and finished third, fourth or something in points and goals. I just think this like that just speaks to like how much he continues to improve year after year. So I'm excited to just keep tracking this guy. Like it's been fascinating. So good for him. And again, he's super young, so he's only going to get better.
We like that. We have to give at least like 30 seconds to Isha here because he got exactly what he wanted. Got exactly what he wanted. Oh,
He, dude,
I love though. I didn't realize that Stevie Leskovar was in the OHL because the way that Isha has just been all over this guy's jock, I assumed he had to be from the Dub.
Yeah. And you know what's really interesting to me too? Is the fact that like I know that 90% of fans of this team had no fucking idea who Stevie Leskovar was when he got drafted. The amount, out of curiosity, because he ended up getting in a fight against was it Will or Sam Bitten, whatever. Will Bitten, whatever. By the way, Bitten was like, "God damn it, do I really?" Fine. And he's like got pumped a few times, and then they were like headlocked a little bit. They like both hit each other with like 12 uppercuts. It was a very funny fight in that game. But Bitten was like, "God damn it, really, bro? Like, this is bullshit. I really don't want to be fighting you right now, but whatever." But like, just out of curiosity, I just typed into Twitter Stevie Leskovar. I had at least 15 people tweeting at Russo, "Hey, have you seen Leskovar? Like, he's making some plays. I think he's be ready to play pretty soon." I was like, holy fuck. Everyone loves him because he's a lunatic. And I mean, he was running around. There were a few hits where I was like, man, if he made good contact there, he somehow would have found a way to get suspended from like preseason hockey, because it was like 9 seconds after the puck was gone, but he was like just so far away when the guy got rid of the puck, but still finished the hit. And it was just very funny. But like, again, this is what we have said about him, is when he wants to play hockey, when he chooses to play, he does a lot of things very well. He just happens to be a certified lunatic and is tough as fuck and loves to fight, and that's just like his favorite thing to do. But I mean, as far as like the baseline skill set, he's a big guy that moves pretty well. He makes a good first pass, generally speaking, with the puck. He makes good decisions. He knows what he is. He knows what he's not. He's not going to try to do more than he's capable of. And like, he's not just out there like literally being like some kind of enforcer. Like, he can play. It's like, you'll see him make plenty of good passes. He's not going to like make many bad decisions. He'll chase a hit when it's like someone dumping the puck and he wants to go finish a hit, but he's not chasing them around in his own end, like at the tail end of like extended D zone time where it's like, bro, please just stay in your spot. Like, he's not doing that, but he is like a decent enough player that there's something there. It's just, I just know for a fact the love comes from like the clips of him fighting in the OHL last few years. Like, he is all about that life. But it's been I was just so curious to see what the reactions were. And it was like legitimately like 12 different people tweeting at Michael Russo. Like, yo, you see this Leskovar? Like, pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, I know, right? It's like, oh, this guy fights too. But it was interesting. In that Blues game, I think halfway through I think by the end of the second, or the end of the first period, there had been like 2 fights. Then Lambos also fought, but in the second period, Lambos had a pretty good tilt. But I mean, that one got out of hand pretty quick. What's his face? Not Sam. Zach Bolduc for the Blues. He was the best player in that game. He was, I mean, breaking ankles, playmaking. Like, I think he got up.
How was Ricky?
3 points in that one. Ricky looked real good too. God, he is such a fun player. He's so good.
Damn it.
Yeah, that one hurt too. Zach Dean looked really good. The kid they got from Vegas. And I think that one finished, was it 6-2, I think?
I just thought of another team name for Toronto that would be very mean, but very fun. The Toronto Nordiques.
That one would hurt. Yeah. No,
Mhm.
I think Seth said the Toronto Expo. Yeah, Seth said Toronto Expos.
Expos works too. Okay. Oh, yep. There we go. But the Nordiques, because you know that if Toronto gets it, Quebec's not. They're not putting two more teams in Canada. There's no way.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Not while Trudeau's in office.
Yeah, no, well, he's there, bro. Trying to think who else I had. It may have been about it. I mean, I thought all the defensemen honestly showed some flashes. Again, like, man, I am so curious to see what Iowa looks like this year. Like, if they can get better. Because I really just want to see Lambos given the fucking reins down there and like let that boy play. Like I cannot emphasize enough the minutes that he played big time minutes in Iowa last year, and I would have to guess 80% of his starts were in the D zone. And like he's shown again, like it's so like actually after we did, I think 2 weeks ago we talked about Pronman's prospect rankings, or was it last week? I think it was 2 weeks ago.
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
But yeah, so after we did that one, EP Elite Prospects came out with theirs. They talked about the Wild. I think they were pretty close, probably top 7 or 8, whatever. As far as the rankings go, but like this is the same thing about Lambos. It's like when he was coming up in his draft year, like again, like the injury thing happened, missed a ton of time, went over to Finland. But he profiled as like a top offensive guy that like can move incredibly well. That isn't some kind of like black hole defensively. And like the last 2 years he played the WHL, he got leaned on pretty much exclusively for his defensive prowess. And I mean, he showed some physicality, well, plenty of physicality. The skating has only gotten better. Like he is an incredible skater. And he's still at times when he is like given some looks, whether it's on the power play or just like the few times they have the puck in the fucking offensive zone when he's on the ice, like that kid can walk a blue line. So I still think there's offensive upside in his game, and he is such a good defender. Like there's such a good fucking player in there, and it's just been like interesting to see where he's found himself, like the teams that he's been on since being drafted, where it was like, yeah, the Winnipeg, they still kept that kid. Oh God, Nolan Orzik. He was like 20 or so. I thought he aged out of the WHL, played another year, and he was their go-to guy in the power play. And they pretty much had like Lambos killing all of their penalty. Like he was out there for several full 2-minute PKs. Like it was just living out there to do that as the captain, fighting everybody. And he like just kind of became, well, just wasn't leaned on very much for offense, still put up decent numbers, but was pretty much like a grinding defensive defenseman who just happened to be like an elite skater with incredible hands that like given the opportunity can show you some offense. So I still, I don't know. I where the defensive prospect pool is going, where he finds himself is another one of those things to be super interesting to track here, just because I still think he's got like some of the most upside of all those guys anyways, just given the baseline of tools and the talent that's in there. It's just been a really weird like environment that he's found himself in since getting drafted. So I mean, he's going to play huge minutes again this year for Iowa. Like he was already averaging like 26, 27, 28 minutes down there. Like all TSO just fucking must have been like, Jesus Christ. Like he's stepping over the boards like, oh my God, I cannot fucking believe this. But there is a hell of a hockey player in there that has a big time future still. It's just, again, that's what we talked about. Will it be here? Will it be elsewhere? I don't know. Because you can get a pretty good package for a guy like that if you decide that there's other guys that are going to leap ahead of him. So
you need him to have a good year this year, though, if that's going to be the case, right? Like you're not getting that kind of return off of this past year, but you could say that about a lot of Iowa. What would you not saying predictions. Like in a perfect world, you get to be GM for the Iowa Wild. What's your top 4 look like on the blue line? How are you arranging that?
It's like, oh, sorry, like this year or is
This
like
year.
with the prospects?
Nope. This year in Iowa, what's your top 4?
Oh shit, in Iowa.
Yeah.
Probably.
Lambos isn't even part of it.
Well, no, Lambos, Hunt.
Oh, Russo's
weird.
burner.
Yeah, well, spot check will be in there. He'll probably be a 4 or 5 guy.
Would you put him on the second pairing or no?
I'm trying to think what that right side looks like down there. Because they didn't keep Johansson, whatever. You got Masters there, you got spot check there. Yeah, I mean, so like Lambos, Hunt, going back, maybe like O'Rourke.
We got Wills Molick. We've got David Spacek, Jack Peart, Kyle Masters, Cameron Crotty, and Joseph Ciccone.
Yep. Yeah,
Who
so
are
I
you
guess it would
putting there?
be. Yeah, no, I'm going Lambos, Hunt, and then honestly, probably
O'Rourke Masters.
O'Rourke, either Masters or Peart, because O'Rourke's historically played a ton of right side, anyways. And that's another guy who's just been logging like 25 to what he plays even more so in his own end. Like Lampa is crazy. And he's been just like solid all around, but like obviously the offense is not one of his go-to attributes anyways, but given the minutes that he logs, how well he plays defensively, like I think O'Rourke's gonna have to be in that top 4. So I'd say Lambos with Hunt, and then some combination of O'Rourke with Peart or O'Rourke with Masters. Masters will probably be on the third pair, but whatever.
Unfortunate. All right. Off the cuff too. First line. Not who will it be? Who would GMZ?
Oh, jeez, I didn't the roster. I can't. I don't want to pull up any other fucking tabs.
All right, we'll skip it. We'll skip it.
Itself. I'm trying. Gotta throw Bankier in there though. At this point,
Have to. Yep. I mean, Bankier Height, right?
Okay. That's what I'm thinking. Fogarty left.
If he doesn't make the big squad, like Bankier, Height, Ogren would be so fun.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I mean, Ogren, they can't. That's the thing. They can't fucking. They don't have money. Like, none of the prospects are making this fucking team. I am still so firm. They're carrying 3 fucking goalies. They cannot. Like, Ogren's not making the team out of camp. Height's not making the team out of fucking camp.
Is it for sure that they do that day 1, though?
At this point, I think so, probably. Like, especially, like, moving forward. Like, they just don't have any way of, like, having any of these young kids on the fucking team.
So you're saying that Wallstead is not starting game 1 for the AHL Iowa Wild?
Probably not. I feel like they're gonna do this out of camp. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. they are in
Bummer.
such a weird spot, not only because of the buyouts, but because of some of these fucking contracts they decided to sign. Like, it's a weird fucking. I was about to say cat friendly page. Nope, it's a very weird Puckpedia page. But yeah, no, give me a fucking Iowa top line of fucking Hunter Haight, Caden Bankier, and Liam Ogren. That would be
Sounds so fun.
probably super difficult to win with in the AHL, but that's fine. They're nasty. God, I don't know. Iowa's still gonna be in one, just given how like young the decor is. It's crazy, but it's all right. It'll be fun. It'll be great. Everyone's gonna love
All
it.
right. Well, let's move on then. Tell me about how things kicked off in Liiga.
Well, I'm gonna have to try to track what's going on with Kumpalainen again. But Rasmus Kumpalainen made his pro hockey debut for Lahden Pelicans in Liiga, and it went quite good. 2 goals and an assist, and then they went to a shootout. And in Liiga, if he had converted in the penalty shootout, he would have been given the hat trick. Did not. They still won in the shootout though. But the first game
that was Pasternak's one request when he was interviewed by Friedman at the NHL media availability. If you could change one rule, what would it be? Game-winning shootout goal is goal.
Yeah, he's the best.
They do that in Europe. Do it here. He's like, okay.
Of course that's his. Like, of all the things he could choose. But Kumpalainen has just looked so fucking good. And like very cool though that his first game, he had played a few Champions League games already with Pelicans, but his first game in Finnish Liiga, playing for his hometown team, his debut, goes out, scores 2 goals, gets an assist, has a chance for the hat trick and a penalty shootout, but misses that one. But they still win that shootout. I gotta check if he's hurt. He didn't play in their last Champions League game against Skellefteå. Or not Skellefteå. He did play. He only played 6 minutes in that one. His last shift was in the second period. I just watched his last shift before he jumped on. I didn't see anything that would have suggested an injury, but he hasn't played since. So I don't know if there was something nagging. Maybe took a hit in the first or second period there. But either way, he's looked real good in the short or the small sample size we have playing pro in Finland. He's been playing primarily on the wing, but he has been given a whole lot of responsibility as far as like he's played a ton of PK. He's on their second power play unit. And I mean, he just looks like an incredibly mature hockey player. Again, like his game kind of does suit itself quite well to the Finnish Liiga. It's just like the lack of foot speed, but like the ridiculous hands, the skill, and how smart he is and his two-way capabilities. I mean, also with his size. But he has looked real good for Pelicans. Hopefully, if he is hurt, it's like a long-term thing. Again, I'm gonna have to go and watch every one of those shifts in his last game, but he's looked really good. Sebastian Swinia, Ilves has not played a Liiga game yet. They've only played Champions League, and they've gotten the absolute shit kicked out of them every fucking game. So his stats do not look great. And from what I've watched of Ilves in those games, more of the same, where it's like you just see so many flashes of like, yep, that's why at one point he's been looked at as like a pretty high-end prospect when you look at the right shot D-band, the size, how well he moves. And there is some kind of offense in there somewhere. It's just still the decision-making at times finds himself out of position here and there where like the mistakes are pretty glaring. And some of the things that he does really well maybe go under the radar a little bit. So like if you're really like watching a game and just zoning in on him, you're going to come away with a mixed bag as is. Stat line, again, does not look great. But I still think that just like the baseline layer of tools there's still a player in there that like long-term, there should be an NHL prospect somewhere. Just it's going to take a little bit, I think. I think he got rushed into pro hockey too early, but we'll see. And then Kivi Harju's played 2 games with HIFK. I don't know if it's like, I don't know how to actually say it, but whatever. Again, mixed bag with him. Like he's made a couple of real nice defensive plays again against like the rush. For a kid his size, he is not afraid of getting physical. Hasn't been a whole lot of offense out there for him to go and like put up any points or whatever, but you still see him make a few plays, like not the fastest, like the foot speed isn't really there, but the lateral mobility and his like how agile he is on the ice, like it is very fun to watch. And again, like in transition, like there are times where like I think he skates backwards faster than he skates like going forwards. It's fascinating, but you see the hands. He's an incredibly smart player. He 99% of the time he's making really good decisions with the puck, especially like breaking out of his own end. And like escapability is like impressive, escaping the forecheck against guys that are like literally a foot and a half taller than he is. So you still see flashes of the upside there. Again, it's only been 2 games or so, regular season anyways, playing in Liiga, but enough there to like. So that's that's really in terms of like actual games prospects that played, and it's only been Finland. Yurov's still hurt, and I don't think people count Guskov anymore. So in the KHL, so that's that.
I mean, counts more than first off, but fair enough.